Hello, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're watching from. So, thank you so much, Breast Health Angel Dr. Chika, for this opportunity to share my story again and the faithfulness of God concerning my life and breast cancer. So, my name is Ethel Olomo. I'm a stage 4 breast cancer survivor by the grace of God, 12 years and counting. I love business a lot. I'm a founder of EngracedLife1 Foundation, aka Save a Breast, and also the host of the biggest gathering of female entrepreneurs in Port Harcourt City in the South, like gathering of over 300 women doing business. So normally hold a fair. So I'm the host of that. I just love anything women empowerment and women doing amazing things for themselves. So I'm a chemical engineer. That's what I studied in university. I'm an alumni of a Lagos Business School. I was actually going through a program in Lagos Business School 2010, precisely 3 weeks to my graduation. And that was when I was diagnosed. I fell sick. One of those days, how I woke up and I felt a sharp pain on my breast. Then I was nobody was talking about cancer. What is cancer? I can't even remember hearing that word cancer, honestly speaking. Like, I don't even think I've heard it. Something that is not in your family. You've not seen anybody that had it, or you've not even come across anybody. So it's not a name, it's not a word I know or use like people around me. So that a day I woke up with a sharp pain on my breast. My mom is a retired nurse, and I told her, I felt this sharp pain on my breast, and she was like, really? She touched it and said, it's a lump. She said, nothing to panic, nothing to worry. Like, every woman will always have a lump one time or the other, and she said I shouldn't worry and I should go to the hospital. She specifically said go to the general hospital and see senior consultants and everything. And I went there and they were like, okay, so this is just a lump, but you need to remove it else it turns to something else. Remember, at this time, nobody was talking about cancer. They just said it's a lump. I said, okay, lump. And I removed it. I went myself. It was an outpatient surgery. I did it, removed the lump, and they took it to the lab. Few weeks after, it came out, and they told me it was nothing. It was benign, like nothing. I shouldn't worry. This time, nobody was still talking about cancer. Precisely 9 weeks after that, one day, middle of the night, I woke up to use the restroom and I couldn't stand up. My breast was as big as 10 people said. Like, it was so swollen, like a big balloon that was about just bursting. I couldn't stand up, and I now noticed that the bed I was lying on was all soaked with pores, blood, and fluid was just on the bed. I was scared. The only person I could call at that time of the night was the doctor that did the lumpectomy surgery for me. I called him. I said, "This is what I noticed." He was like, "That's strange." That okay, I shouldn't worry. By morning, he's going to send me a prescription that maybe is inflammation or something. This time, nobody was still talking about breast cancer. And the next morning, he sent me that medication. I got it, took it for first day, second day, third day, no change. Then I was in Lagos doing this program. I used to live in Port Harcourt then. That was how I went back to Port Harcourt. Going back to Port Harcourt, how am I going to go back to Port Harcourt with my breast as big as 10 people's head? My friend that was staying in her place had to go to Yaba, bought like this tracksuit that coaches they use. She bought it the biggest size. She used up all the wrappers in her house, made a big ball, put in my other breast. That was how she drove me to the airport. I took the next flight and I came back. My siblings came to pick me and I came back. Of course, I went to the hospital straight. Going to the hospital where the doctor saw me was like, "This is strange. Okay, don't worry, I'm going to do a corrective surgery." Remember, nobody was still talking about cancer. That was how I was taken back to the lab the second time to do maybe a corrective surgery and maybe remove out all the fluids. They did that and brought me out, stitched me up. Days turned to weeks and nothing happened. By this time, it was leaking non-stop. Like, it has jagged to like a wound. I had to change doctor, went to the third doctor, and he was like, "Oh, maybe they did a wrong surgery. The surgery they did for you, it was wrong, this, that." Remember, this second time, they took the sample to the lab. It came back, and there was nothing. It was clean, like sparkling clean. Nothing was wrong with me. I went to the deck doctor. The deck doctor said, "Okay, don't worry. We are going to do a corrective surgery. You're a woman. Your breasts don't have to be this messy and everything." They took me to the lab. In fact, I literally passed out from that theater because I was bleeding non-stop. My breast was just bleeding like as if it's a tap that was just gushing. At the end of the day, they quickly stitched me up, did what he did. He said, don't worry, I've drained out all the fluid and pus and blood and everything, brought me out. By this time, this wound under my breast has already turned to a full-blown wound. From there, I changed to the fourth doctor, and they were like, "Oh, I know what is wrong with you. Is your arm? By the time we cut off your arm, by the time we amputate your arm, you'll be fine." In fact, I disappeared from there. By this time, I was really, really sick. Remember, 3 times they took all these samples to the lab. Like they took it from Port Harcourt to Lagos to Ibadan to Abuja. All the labs, name it, and nothing was showing. I was fine. By this time, I was gradually dying. At a time, I got bedridden, because I was sick. And guess what? They were just feeding me with. Because I was in so much pain, they were feeding me with. In fact, any day I remember it, I said, God, in fact, it's your mercy and grace that kept it. I was taking tramadol, like I take it in sachets daily. That's the only thing that can, numb my pain for a short while. And by the time it starts again, it starts like times 10 of the pain. I was out from there. I went to the traditional, to go and do traditional herbal, whatever. I was there for like few months, few weeks, They did all they could do. Not, in fact, that place I will always pass out. By the time they rub me all the concussion, they rub me, I'll drink and everything. All this time, nothing was showing. That's the strangest of it all. Nothing was showing. By this time, I was bedridden. I couldn't stand up. I had bed sore. Not until 8 months, 10 months into that, where we are doing all this back and forth treatment and everything. That was when a family friend that was a head of the medical service in the River State government. Then he now said, people are looking at this girl. She's dying here. Some days I can't even talk because I'm just numb with pain. They will just give me like the strongest of antibiotics. I'll be there crying. Like the days I can talk, I'll cry. But I was dead deaf with pain and everything. And when this family friend came on board, he now said, okay, he needs to take this sample abroad. That was when this sample was taken outside Nigeria. And a few weeks after, when sample result came out, they said, they first of all asked if this was autopsy or something like that. I said, no, she's still alive, even if she's almost like a vegetable. They said, this is the last stage of cancer. It has metastasized to like her other organs and everything. And they're like, okay, so what can we do? Can we bring her over to treat her? Like, they took my file, my medical history to more than 10 hospitals in India. And all of them said, no, don't bother. She can't even make it. This one she's already a corpse. Like, she just have a few weeks to live. But, because we didn't keep quiet. Okay, now there is a name to it. There is breast cancer.